Hi, I'm Simon Phipps, and I work at the moment for the Open Source Initiative. I've worked in some very large companies at Burroughs and Unisys and Sun Microsystems and IBM, and I've done some reasonably cool things over my time. Got Java started at IBM, got Java open source at Sun Microsystems, and then most recently I've been focused on open source since around about 1998. For the last decade or so, I've been involved in the Open Source Initiative. That's the global charity that acts as the steward for the open source license list and the term open source. And for quite a few of those years, I was the president of the organization. I'm now on staff and responsible for looking after OSI's engagement with the world of standards and also with the world of public policy in Europe. The world of standards is very significant for us because many open source projects implement standards, but many people are unaware that standards created by official standards bodies like ETSI and ISO are very likely to be encumbered with patents and unsuitable for implementation by open source. So I'm engaging with standards bodies and with the European Commission to try and get that fixed so that standards can be freely implemented. Open source is really important for society. Open source is software which anybody can use and enjoy for any purpose in any place without having to go ask permission or negotiate with any of the creators. That means that you can see some software and use it straight away. And you can get familiar with some software and reuse it anyhow you want. It means you can innovate without anyone acting as a gatekeeper on your innovation. That's profoundly important for the social application of software. Open source software lets you see what people are doing with your data because you can check the source. It lets you see what people are doing with their software and your property because you can see the source. It lets you add on features that are missing because you can copy and reuse the source. Without open source, it's much more likely that society will become authoritarian. It can happen with open source, but open source is one of the safeguards that we have to make sure that we remain free citizens of a free country. And that's why I'm involved with the UK government on the Open Standards Board as well, trying to make sure that open means open within the UK as well as in Europe. I'd encourage you to support the Open Source Initiative. It is a global public charity and it runs on a very slim budget, and by becoming a member you help us carry on this work of safeguarding open source as a term, maintaining the license list and keeping open in public policy around the world.